Welcome back, guys. It's your boy Quan,
It's your girl, Bryce.
and you are tuning in to Check It Live. It's been a crazy 2020, but we finally made it out. And I wrote down a goodbye letter to 2020. This is what I said. I said, goodbye, you. I will never see you again after the 31st of December. We went through so many physical losses and so many mental losses. Friends I thought that was forever. Family I thought that could never. And even me, I started losing myself in the midst of losing everything else around me. The things that kept me pushing the most through our relationship was not you, it was me. But one thing you gave me was averaging out the fake and the weak friends. That should have never been in my circle. I look at my life as a plant. Plants need watering to grow. The way I look at us, people being watered, is to have positive energy. Without your light, we can't make it. And if we have bad energy being poured into us, we won't be able to grow. That's what I said, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Cute.
So,
cute.
You like it?
Yeah,
You
it was
feeling
cute. It was cute.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a different show for you guys. Usually we talk about hot topics and everything, but I wanted to do something different and hear other people's intake on things and different beliefs and everything, because you guys were trying to tell us that we were very biased about the things we talk about and everything. So I brung my good bro Josh on here, and we're gonna talk about the whole politics and the rioting that had happened, that had transpired in the Capitol building and everything. And Josh,
Hello, can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. So first of all, I know that you are a Republican, correct?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Okay, so my first question is like, I would like to ask you, first of all, because everybody that comes on here, I want to ask, how are you? I know many people are questioning, just get straight into it. But when people come on here, I just want to ask them, how are they feeling? Your thoughts and everything. Before we get into that, like, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, actually. I'm just working.
That's
Frustrated with what's going on right now with the politics, Trump, the election. Right now, what's all going on.
right. Yeah, I think it's very frustrating on a lot of people. It's been so much, and being a Democrat looking in, it's people. I feel like there's a big stigma on Republicans and all this, that, and the third. But I have to be
I
honest.
agree with you with that.
You agree?
Yes, I do agree. There's
I
a big...
think a lot of people see Republicans as bad people and stuff like that. And I feel like it's more so, it's like wearing Gucci. When people wear Gucci, they take it from a other person. They're like, oh, that's the new it thing. And I'm not saying I haven't heard any bad things about Republicans, but I have heard bad things about Democrats too. So I can't sit here and say both people are bad, both people are more bad. I just feel like there's a bigger stigma on Republicans, given the fact that more minority people have had this thing on Republicans.
Yeah, I agree with that because I think there's a big stigma on Republicans both and Democrats.
Yeah.
And Republicans get this: they're white supremacists, they're racist, they're KKK, this and that.
Right.
And I don't know how to explain it, but
Yeah.
there's this big thing going on with both of them, and they're so divided right now.
We
And I
are.
feel like it's like that because the media, honestly, it is trying to push us against each other, when really
Right.
we should be coming together to
Yeah.
fix the problem with government, get down to the core of what's being done wrong.
That's definitely the truth. I feel like the media has definitely played a big part on what has been happening lately and how people are perceived as the Republicans being like these bad people, you know.
Yeah.
But with the whole Capitol thing, do you feel like what had happened was wrong? Like how it went down, as in them going in the Capitol building? Do you feel like they were just being? Do you feel like it was peaceful, or they were like? What's your thoughts on the whole Capitol thing?
Honestly, I know I was there and I was protesting.
Mm-hmm.
Whole day, I got there around 7. People were there at 4 in the morning
Mm-hmm.
already, and the whole morning was peaceful, and everyone was speaking. We were chanting USA,
Mm-hmm.
this, that, and that. And then once we got to the Capitol building, because that's where the march was supposed to end, they started breaking in. And honestly, I'm outraged by what happened. I believe that is right. I don't support that at all.
Right.
I just think it is wrong. That's not how the day should have went. We act as United States to break into the Capitol building. We were supposed to be there supporting and getting our word out to look into the stolen election
Mm-hmm.
to see if it's stolen or if the Democrats truly won.
Right.
We were supposed to be out there chanting that, getting heard, but what they did to break in, completely disagree with that. I am ashamed at the Republican Party for doing that.
Yeah, I definitely was looking at it just like, what is going on?
Josh, I
But
have a question. So, are
Yes.
you saying like this is a question. So, do you believe that the election was stolen? Like, you think that it was like as he said, a landslide?
Yes, I do. If you look into the evidence and look into what was happening
mm-hmm.
in Michigan, Wisconsin, all the big states that are battlegrounds for Democrats and Republicans, if you look at who voted for Biden, there are over, I believe it was 40,000 dead people voted, 20,000 um, underage people, and I think it was like 15,000 somewhere in that area where people voted twice for Joe Biden.
Mm.
And
So,
if these are, and
oh,
also the
sorry.
machines that, you're fine, the machines that they were being used were Nancy Pelosi's husband's company and their technology. And these machines, they were claimed to be 0.01 chance of failing or
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want to call it, malfunctioning.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the election, they came out and said it was 93.13, I think, and it was that 93.13% of malfunctioning, something going wrong. And in the hours that the election that was happening, during the night when everybody went to on the map, if you look, Trump's stats were going up, and then they just stopped,
Mm.
and Joe Biden shot up over. Started. If you look at it, they were going at the same pace, and then Trump stopped, and Biden shot straight up. It was like 100 votes from the country in Joe Biden only, and then once everybody was like again, the day started, they matched up evenly and got good.
Mm.
Well, my question is this. So, if this election was a landslide, then when Trump was elected and everybody was saying, and they even had proof that he used Russia to get votes, so that was fake, and then this is real?
I never heard anything about Trump getting
So you didn't see when
I
he
believe they.
was with Putin and getting votes from Putin?
No, I did not.
Oh.
Listen, me personally, I'm more so still grasping on the whole politics things. So I'm still learning each and every day about, what's going on in the world and everything. But in my opinion on the whole election, I think if you do support him, I think it is okay for you to, want to find answers, because even when the whole Hillary Clinton, when the whole Trump and Hillary election went down, and everybody was saying Trump had rigged it because I think like Hillary, I think it was very similar to each other. I think she was, if I'm not mistaken, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she was like winning at a point, and then like right at the end, he had skyrocketed at the top and won like right before the election
Mm-hmm.
had closed. But I'm not so sure if that's the truth, but that's what I had learned and heard from. Did y'all hear about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I
I
heard about
definitely,
that. I
yeah, I
actually
definitely, what'd you say?
during
I'm
that
sorry.
election, the night during the election, the whole time they were kind of going, Trump was in the lead, Hillary was in the lead, Trump was in the lead,
Mm-hmm.
Hillary was in the lead, and then kind of not really the end, but towards the middle, Trump started getting ahead. But I haven't seen anything while I was watching it where
Right.
Trump jumped up out of nowhere. I did not see that.
Yeah, I that was really big in the media and the press and everything. Um, so like I said before, if you do believe that, I think you should definitely find out what the truth is, because at the end of the day, our president is someone who is empowered to make a change.
I
Being
agree with that, and I'm not saying that they did. I'm saying what we were trying to do at that protest is
mhm.
to fight it, get them to find the evidence, and make sure that it was not rigged, that they won fairly, and if so be it, they won. But
So you had no idea what was about to transpire.
no,
What
that
happened?
was not it. What I'm seeing on the news right now. I don't know if you're this.
Hmm.
I don't know if you're seeing this, but mostly Antifa was there, and they were the first ones to break into the window and start the chaos. And they fully came out on social media and said that they were going to dress up as Trump supporters. And
Yeah, I actually did hear about that, and I heard that about the because the things that's going on worldly is very similar to each other, and I actually heard the same thing about the Black Lives Matter protests when they were saying how the riots came about, and it was Republicans that started the riot. So I've been hearing both he say she say with both things and everything, but one thing that I definitely noticed, and I definitely want to ask you, I seen that when the whole Black Lives Matter protest had went down, because this has been all over social media. So I'm pretty much just asking questions that, people honestly really want to know. Like with the whole Black Lives Matter protest, people were saying like, if it was the Black Lives Matter protest, it would have been different.
Oh,
Do you believe
yes.
that?
no, I do not. I believe that the government BML protests have done
Mm-hmm.
before, and they were prepared to stop them from destroying the city pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So they were there ready to do that. And people were saying, oh, if it was black people, it'd be different. If it was black people protesting, that everybody was being shot. If you go back and look at the police reports, there was one person shot by the police during the
One.
BML protest because he was shooting at the cops and the cops fired back. Also, people are saying that during the at the Capitol Hill that they weren't doing anything to stop them.
Mm-hmm.
They were spraying tear gas. They were throwing smoke bombs. They were um, shooting rubber bullets, pepper spraying
But Josh,
people.
this is what I have to say right quick. And it's crazy that you kind of say like, oh, the police were able to prepare for BLM protesters when literally the president made a speech about how they're going to be stopping at the Capitol, and military or police were not at the Capitol to stop Trump supporters?
Because in Trump supporting protests before, it has never gone like that. They was always been peaceful, no violence, nothing went wrong.
But do you
And
understand
that's
that Black
why
Lives
we don't
Matter
understand.
protests
Wait,
started peacefully and then it transpired
Yes,
into that because there was no change?
I do believe that, but destroying the city and burning it down is not the way to go.
Okay.
I definitely can agree with that.
I
Um,
mean, I tend to kind of disagree because it's like, okay, it's just like if somebody sits up there, right?
mhm,
And they keep bothering you and you're like ignoring it, you're still going about your day, but
right,
it's like an everyday thing.
right,
It's like an everyday constant thing of something bothering you or someone, but eventually you're going to snap. You're going to say fuck it and you're going to do what a normal human does, which is go to the extreme because we didn't told, like, it's just like, okay, you know how like your mother tell you something not to do, right? And you thinking about it, you like, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. But I do know if I do this, I'll get in trouble. So you
right,
do it anyways. Everything has a reaction. And what
mhm,
I don't like is how people are like, they're destroying the city. They're destroying the city. But it's like you as cops are destroying lives.
right.
Do you
That,
get that? Like, I feel like lives are more important than a city.
yeah,
And it's been going on for too long. Too long. Black people have been silenced. Black people have been told, well, since you're destroying a city, you definitely don't deserve what you really deserve. You know what I'm saying?
right,
And it's like, okay, I understand you're not supposed to destroy the city, but literally, Trump supporters just destroyed the Capitol.
mm.
Literally. And
So, I,
and I can't agree with the whole, oh, I don't believe that if it was black people would not even be allowed near the Capitol, period.
right,
There was the whole National Guard in front of the Capitol.
mm,
And nobody even said anything about protesting. Well, we probably did say that we were going to protest, but the president did not go on national television and radio and say, hey, we're going to be marching around the Capitol.
right.
And there was no National Guard around the Capitol to stop Trump supporters. But there were already police, military, all that before protesters even got there. Black
So I
Lives
have a,
Matter protesters even got to where they were protesting. There was already police. Do you get that, Josh? Like, do you understand where I'm coming from?
I do, but do you understand? At the next Trump protest, I believe there will be the same SWAT teams. They will be prepared, but like I said before, they've never seen anything like that from Trump supporters and Trump protests.
right.
But they've seen before from the, and I'm not calling it. It started off as a protest, and I'm calling it a protest because that's what I was there for, and that's what I was doing there peacefully.
Mm-hmm.
But what
Riots.
exactly were
And I'm
you
not talking about the. I'm not
protesting?
talking about
I think
the.
Yeah, that's what kind of confused me. Like when I first really
hi,
seen
Jasmine.
like the
By the way,
gathering of hi. When I first seen like the gathering of everybody, of course, protests, I'm not against people using their rights.
right,
Their right to use their voices, their right to do what's right or what they believe
definitely,
is right.
right.
But it just made no sense to me. Like, what were y'all there for? Like, it just made no sense
Well,
to me
well, well.
personally.
I can say that
Well, Josh explained his reasoning for
he
being
said,
there. And his reasoning was that he went to talk to basically go about the election and how they feel about the election.
mm-hmm.
So that was
he
his
That
explanation. But I feel like everybody kind of had their own reason.
Reasoning,
Yeah, but
yeah.
it transpired into one big reason.
right.
the
Go
reason
go
And
that
ahead.
the protest
Go.
and the march was started was to take what was stolen and support the president.
uh-huh.
I have a question.
Hmm.
And this is just me going off social media and everything. Um, I respect everybody's beliefs and
Right.
everything.
Right.
But I know you said that if it was like the whole military and everything like that, but if it was in place, do you believe that if they were in place, it would have been the same thing as a Black Lives Matter protest? Like, do you believe that it was like a white privilege thing, or it really was because the military wasn't there?
I really believe that it was because the military was not
And
there.
wait, why do you think that?
I think what?
Why do you think with your answer? Why do you think that?
That the reason it went down was because there was no
Mm-hmm.
military there.
Yes.
Because there was nobody to stop them.
I mean, it was plenty of cops. They all
Like
were
I said, that
armed. I mean,
I have a question. So I seen this video, and I seen like seriously, I really seen this video of this cop, and they were at the gates at the Capitol, and the police officer literally opened the gate.
Yep. To
He
multiple people.
yeah,
so
I
like
seen the video. I don't have an explanation for that. I don't know what that was about.
so do you, no, my question is like for the police officers. Do you believe the police officers that was there that day? Do you feel like it was allowed because they were scared? Do you feel like it was allowed because they were Trump supporters? Like, why do you believe that? Like, even the whole selfies, the police officers were taking pictures with the the people, and they were walking the people down the stairs, and with the Black Lives Matter movement, it was totally different, even with
yeah,
like a
whole different energies.
Oh,
even
Joshua,
regular, even
I
like a regular
I just
protest.
have
Hold
some.
on, Bryce.
Okay, but
I would
okay.
like to hear his response on that. Like, do you like why do you believe the police officers were different handled with the Black Lives
Yeah,
Matter
like handle
protests
this differently.
and you guys Republicans?
Honestly, I don't know why the police did open the gate. Maybe it was officers off duty that were Trump supporters. I'm not really sure why that happened, but
Right.
And do you think
I
that
don't have
that's
an answer for
right?
that.
Do you think that's right?
I don't know. Like I said before, I don't think it was right that they
Mm-hmm.
stormed in and broke into the Capitol building.
Right.
No, I mean, do you think that is right that off cops that are Trump supporters, do you think it was right to let in Trump supporters to break the Capitol?
Well, if they're Trumpers, they were there along with it. They have their opinion. They have their freedom to do what they want to do when they're off duty. They did the same thing as the people who broke into the building.
Right.
Okay,
Do
so
you
here's my question. I actually have a question now. How would you feel if there were Black Lives Matter protesters at the Capitol, and um police were just letting them in to the Capitol, letting them, because there was a lot of vandalism going on. People were taking pictures of the statues. People were taking pictures with the cops. Like, how would you feel
mhm.
about that? Like, seeing that if it were the Black Lives Matter group.
I would the same way if they broke into the Capitol. Like I said when we started, I don't feel like that was the right thing to do. I don't. That was not the part of the intentions of the whole march, and I completely disagree with breaking into the Capitol.
Well, I have.
Well, I mean, like as far as like how the cops handled the situation, like how would you feel? Is that like, do you feel the same on that? Like, do you feel like they should still have their beliefs and stuff, or is it just different?
No, I still believe they have their beliefs.
So I
You have your opinion, and you're free to have your opinion in what you choose to do.
that's true,
That's
but
true.
I believe and I think this is my last question. I do believe that the the Supreme Court, the government, everything is corrupt. I think
Definitely.
what we perceive and what we give them is what will be taken. So, like having a child, if you allow your child to curse in front of you, your child's going to continue to curse. If you let your child do X, Y, and Z, then your child's going to do that. It's all about what you perceive and allow to certain people. And I definitely believe, and you know, we all can agree to disagree. I definitely believe what happened was because of the race of the people, not because they supported Trump or believed in Trump. I think it was what they allowed.
I feel like the big large group of those people were like felt less of a threat to them,
Yeah.
which I do kind of hold that against those cops, but at the same time, it's the entire system that is really built like that, and that is why the cops are the way that they are.
Yeah.
And it's also, there are certain cops, because all, you know, people love to say all cops are bad, all that, you know, of course,
Right.
you can't just group them all into one,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, there are some that are really good cops, and I really feel bad for the cops that really like
Yeah.
have to hold on to that
Yeah.
generalization, because
Right.
it's like, damn, like there are some really good cops out there that really do their job very well, and that are actually a cop because they want to protect and serve any community and every community in the right way. So, you know, when it comes to stuff like that, it's just like, damn.
Yeah. So my
Yeah, I
my
agree
my
with that. I think the government is really corrupt, and I think if you are a police officer, you should be there job and put your political views aside and do what's right for the people.
Corrupt how? How do you think that
Definitely.
the government is corrupt?
I think the government is corrupt completely. I think they have control of everything. They take what they want and they tell you what they want, and they abuse what the power is given to them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this is a race problem with the police officers, even the government in general, like even the Supreme Court, the police officers, because the things that are allowed for a certain set of people aren't allowed for the other set of people. Do you
Yeah.
believe it plays a part in with how people look at race and stuff like that with the government system in general? Do you feel like that's how it can one of the steps that it is corrupt, by it not being equalized? And you know, the problem with dealing with race, I definitely believe that's one of, in my own opinion, I believe that's one of the reasons why the certain things that happened the other day happened and was allowed. And it possibly could have been because of um, the military and everything. But I do believe that one of the other reasons was because of certain things are just not taken into accountability as much as it is for minorities. Do you agree with me?
I do not. I agree on some things, but I just
Mm-hmm.
not all of it. I disagree with some of it.
Right.
Which part did you disagree with?
Um, He'd have to say it again. Honestly, it just went through my mind. You can ask, and I'll tell you my opinion on what he said.
Okay.
Pretty much I was saying like the government being corrupt, and one of the main reasons is because of them not being equalized, and they allow certain things being pertained because of the certain races and everything. Do you agree? Like one of the reasons, the other reasons other than the military coming into place and not coming into place, was because not just them being Trump supporters or they didn't come, but another set of reasons, or do you even think this may have been possible, was because it wasn't minorities.
When what you started with, I disagree with that because you're gonna have racist people all over. They're probably never gonna go away, and you can't
Right.
like saying all cops are bad. Like she pointed out earlier, not all cops are bad. I
Yeah.
I think it's just the little roots that are in there that are racist, and
Mm-hmm.
I think there are and they're making it all look bad for
Mm-hmm.
the government, the police, the Republican Party itself. It's just
Okay,
making
so
everyone look bad.
Definitely.
okay, so that is very true. There's always going to be racist because there's always going to be parents that teach their kids a certain way and certain kids that don't learn how to break those cycles and learn how to educate themselves for future generations and stuff like that.
Right.
But America, ever since it was first founded, has never been really founded on equality, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I believe like the government, has been a lot of laws in place that really give a one up to non-minorities and people that are not people of color. So
Right.
it's like it is true that there's always going to be racists that ruin it for us. Of course, like the people in Congress and the Senate, of course, that's a big part. That a lot of people know how to vote. There are people that don't know that they can vote for senators and judges and all of that. And there are these people that have been in those offices since segregation.
Right.
So it's like, of course, the government is going to be corrupt if there are people who don't believe in equality and the
Mm-hmm.
seats that are supposed to be for equality. So I do understand where you're coming from with yeah, there's always going to be racist people, but it does definitely start from where the racist people come from. And there's a lot of racist people in America.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
America was built
And it's
off of racism,
racist. Yeah.
so that's just a
So
whole different thing in itself. Also,
But
since Josh, you were talking about like percentages and all that stuff. So I'm like, oh, let me be like him, and get some percentages and whatnot and numbers, because you got to have factual evidence, right? So if we look at
true.
factual evidence, how many white people have been shot by the police?
I could not tell you.
Right. Do you think that it would be more or less than how many black people got shot by the police?
It'd probably be more
More black people?
white people.
You think, excuse me, sir, you think that more white people have been shot by the police more than black
and what do
people?
you?
No
Okay.
politics, no nothing. This is just how it is, right? Just how it is, simply.
So
You
Everyday
think
the
life.
that
reason I think that more white people
get,
this week
yeah,
is because if you look at the race percentages of the whole United States,
uh-huh.
white people take up most of it. I think, or I believe
That is
over half of
incorrect.
it. I'm
That
not
is
really sure.
incorrect. There are more black people in America than there are white people.
I'm not sure I agree with that.
That is factual.
I'd
There
have
are
to look
more
it up.
black people in America than there are white people.
But
The
I
I'll
have a
have to look it
question.
up.
I respect both of you guys' intake,
Definitely.
and I think everyone has a different point of view and different things like that. But the main question that I I think everyone wants to know: do you believe that? First of all, do you believe in white privilege, and also do you believe that white privilege is flourishing in the government judicial system? That's my biggest question. You know.
White privilege is a thing. I am white and I've never experienced any white privilege at all. I've never had
You just haven't
any.
realized that you have, but you definitely have. You just didn't realize it.
If if you look into laws and stuff that they put in order,
Mm-hmm.
black people, I think black people actually have a privilege and they don't want to notice it and they don't
What
want to talk
privilege?
about it.
Please
But
enlighten me.
I need to
you get
laugh.
more of a chance to get in because you are black. If you
What?
go,
Wait,
you get
what?
scholarships because of it. Yeah, you did not know that.
Wait. No.
Personally, because I have a question. I want to know personally, why do you think that's in place, that that Black people might have an advantage in the college area? Why
And
do you
where
think
did you
that's in
get
place?
this
Because I know why. I
information?
just want to know.
Where did you
Do
get
you
that
know why?
information from?
No, it's true. It's true. I just want him to know, like, I want him to like realize why that's in place.
I'm not sure why it's in place,
Like,
and
do you know?
I don't really disagree with it. I stand with it because city schools, I don't think the school system in the cities are giving the best education that they can give, and I think it gives them the good to get into colleges and get good steady jobs, give them good pay, stuff like that. I don't know why it's there, but I don't disagree with it.
Okay, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with it being there either, but the reason why it's there is not a good reason. It's there because they want to create fake diversity in white-owned schools and predominantly white schools. There's a lot of schools that Black people will not get into, especially Ivy League. So of course they always have that in place so that, oh yeah, you're Black, okay, let's take like 20 Black people and then reject like 70 of them,
Yeah.
you know.
I,
So
I
Well, you said it's
that's
in
basically what they
high
do
colleges, but
with
that
those
applies
colleges.
for all colleges, no matter if they're really high
Well, I
scouted,
said
really low scouted.
predominantly
It applies
Ivy.
for every college, and
Yeah, it applies for all of them, but especially Ivy League, they love to do that.
honestly, I do agree with
Yeah.
Jasmine and Bryce on this one.
But either way, even if we do have something that is systemically saying that it's easier for us to get into a college, you have something that you were born with that makes it easier for you to get into college.
Do you believe that is true, Bryce? I mean, Josh?
I do not believe that it's
Or
true
no?
that I have more of a chance to get in college because I'm white.
Why not?
Because how do you have a better opportunity to get into a college than I do?
Because
I
there's
I would
something in place for me to get into college easier. Jasmine just went over it because schools want more diversity. But you, as a white male, even if there wasn't this thing in
It's
place, if there
already in
wasn't this
place
thing in
for
place, right?
you.
They would look at me, right? They would automatically probably think that I was unfit to be in their school, or they would probably think that I'm not smart enough. Now,
The perception is,
right.
I can say what they perceive as African American people are ghetto, unsmart, this, that, and the third. And when they look at, other non-minority people, that they're smart, they got it together, even if they don't. But the perception of what they see because of the skin color that we all have within ourselves, even if you don't believe in it and you don't believe that that is true, this is definitely a fact. Because and the reason why I can sit here and speak on it is because we have experienced it and you have possibly not. And I can understand if you're like, okay, I don't believe in that because you probably haven't experienced it. But as in us, we have.
Because one thing I can say is, I'm not going to say that you haven't, Joshua, I'm not going to say that you haven't experienced discrimination of any kind, but it's very different when you're a person of color. It's very different because it's every little thing that you do, especially the stereotypes from birth that we have. You could probably be the most educated Black person, the most well looking Black person, you carry yourself well, but when you're in the same room full of white counterparts that, you know don't really have the same stereotypes as you, that like are pushed on you as you grow up, it's very hard because
Yeah.
one thing about these stereotypes that are pushed on us, a lot of us are conditioned to not only learn them and know them, but a lot of us grow up and believe them, which is why there's like so much mental illness in our communities, which is why it's very hard for us to even believe that we could succeed, because everything is conditioned against us.
Yeah.
Do you understand that?
I somewhat do understand that about people putting these stereotypes on you. And like I said, there's always going to be that racist group that's going to keep going on, but that does not apply for everybody. And being white, if I have this privilege, I've never had someone come up to me and say, I want you in your closet because you're white. That just don't happen. It's not a thing. Speak on racism because I'm not black and I can't experience it. How does that give you any right to speak on white privilege if you've never experienced it?
Oh, wait.
This is a general question.
Wait. Let me answer.
So,
Well, the difference between it is giving the fact that we've seen it. That's like saying you go to a job and everything, and this is not for everybody, but this is a big percentage that it happens to. You go to a job and there is a non-minority person and I'm not even, this is not even just black people. These are minority people in general. You have these two people, but when they go, most likely they're going to take the non-minority person, not because the black person isn't smart, the Hispanic person isn't smart, but the image is what they look at and what they take. Given the fact that we've been pushed back and you've been pushed forward, you're not looking at it as there's a problem because you're
in the benefit.
You know what I'm trying to say? You're already
it benefits. Sometimes it could be a bad thing because ignorance is bliss.
Right.
You know, so of course when you look at it, of course you think it might be an equal playing field because I mean you're in the winning seat, and sometimes you lose, which is why you think it's an equal playing field because of course you lose, you think, okay, maybe everybody else, okay, I see other people losing, so maybe I just don't have the advantage here because I'm losing. But because you lose doesn't mean you don't have the advantage, is what I'm saying. Like, which is why a lot of white people don't think they have white privilege because they've gone through a certain struggle or that they can relate to towards minorities. And it's not that the thing is with white privilege, no one's saying that you can't struggle. No one's saying that you don't struggle. It's just the fact that in this society in America, what America was built on, what America is still built on, what America's laws are like, what America's judicial system is like, you just automatically, it's not your fault that you have the privilege. But it is a crucial thing to realize that you do have it because it could be dangerous for other people who don't.
That I think that's definitely the truth, and I understand and I get it. I really get both of you guys' point of views, and I truly understand where you're coming from. The only thing,
yes, because I can understand, Joshua. There is a lot of white people I understand, like where they don't like actually see that they have the privilege or they don't think it exists because of course when you in that playing field you don't like really see it, like but it's there.
I think the biggest thing what we want to put out and let everyone know, it's not about arguing, it's not about us debating or stuff like that. It's about
coming to an understanding.
Yeah, it's all about coming to an understanding and being able to have a different point of view and still being able to talk it out and still be able to get your point across without yelling and everything and more.
Right, because we're all human. At the end of the day, we all bleed the same. Our skin color might be different. Where we come from might be different. How we were raised might be different. But we all speak English shit. We all got teeth. We basically the same in a lot of ways that we really would like to deny. Like there's so many I don't understand why humans want to be put against each other so much. It doesn't make any sense to me because there's so many similarities down to the nail, down to the particle, the atom that we have that we don't even realize. So it's like, damn, like why is there not, if anything, we should want to be
Well, that's
unified
what I
more
was
than
saying when we first
anything,
Yeah.
started.
especially in this day and
We
age.
Yeah, he was
that we
telling
need
us
to
that.
come together as a nation, even though we have different political views as a Republican or a Democrat, and fix what the problem is.
Right.
Now,
And I
another
think
thing I do want to add, because I do agree, of course, I do agree that we should come together, but there are definitely some people that do take it to the extreme. Of course, you can have different beliefs, but when it hurts a different group of people, that's when it becomes a problem. And that's when the unity probably needs to learn to turn into unity against something so that that can be
mm,
abolished and we
mhm.
can actually have real unity. Because
That's just like dealing with bad and good. It's we're trying
exactly,
to push for the good and push out the bad,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of what race you are or anything like that. But I think the start of unity in everything is all about what you see and what you're open-minded to seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Like what we said, I know we have different beliefs because I had to take a step back and listen in of what you say,
right,
even if I'm not even a Caucasian person or a white person. At the end of the day, we're still human. So the start of unity, we have to listen to others and see how their point of view is and see how they look at things and see possibly what you just said might be true. But most of the time, everybody have their guard up and say, well, this is not true. This is da-da-da-da-da-da, and ready to argue.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like,
right,
once we start to look at what everyone is going through for what it is, and not what I'm going through, not what the other person going through, but what they just told me that they're going through, and I'm honestly open-minded to it. Forget what I'm going through, but let me really look at what they just said.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
I
agree
think
with that.
that's the start.
right.
I think that's the biggest
And
part of unity.
another thing that's really important in things like this is the whole thing with validation. When you share something where when you like have your viewpoint, the best thing to do is not look for validation. But another thing is
Mm-hmm.
when someone is sharing their viewpoint, you shouldn't look to validate that either, or invalidate that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, because another person's opinion or another person's story, it's not there for you to validate or invalidate. It's
Right.
theirs, and they went
Mm-hmm.
through it.
Right.
It's not like it could be erased from history. So, that's the thing. It's like with a lot of this stuff, like that's why when we have these debates and all of this, like it's so hard to just sit there and sit back and be like, we can do this. It's not hard when
Mm-hmm.
everybody's feelings are into it, when everybody's looking to validate or
Mm-hmm.
invalidate something.
Yeah. I think that's the truth. Bryce, do you have anything to add to it before?
No.
I would like to
Okay.
real quick
Josh, do
go
you
back
have
on
anything?
what Bryce was saying.
Follow us on Instagram at Check It Live. Is it Check It Live?
It sure is.
Jasmine. Check It Live. Subscribe to our
On
YouTube
Twitter
channel
at Check It Live Podcast, because we're going to get back active on there.
We can't finish this conversation on
maybe.
FaceTime.
We're going to
Yes.
try. We're going to try.
Yes. And make sure you guys share, like, and comment. Coming up on Check It Live.
The news is bullshit. The news is freaking bullshit. They tell us everything but what's really going on in our country.
Simply doing their jobs instead of killing Black people in the first place, they wouldn't have to die in fires. They wouldn't have to die by being trampled, because that's the reason why we started the protest. It's because police officers don't know how to act towards Black people.
If I had got the chances right now to flip the script, I would still stand by what I said.
So I'm not saying he's wrong, but I'm not
agree
saying
with
he's right.
interracial relationships, and if you don't want someone who stinks like shit because they have
What? You can control your body odor. You can control if you smell like ass. I cannot control what comes out of my damn head. If my hair is nappy, I should not get a job. If you smell like shit all the time,
It's too much.
Oh my gosh.
All going
sir.
down tomorrow.